We built it in 77, 78.
If lack of long-term finance cramps the big, imagine its impact on the small. John Edgley invented an aeroplane. All he's left with now is a resentment of British finance and a model in his attic.
It's amazing, isn't it?
As it's
a fantastic model.
Turned out, in fact, we never did use this one in the wind tunnel, but it turns into quite a reasonable model that we used at both the Farnborough and the Paris air shows.
When you look at that model and all the work that went into it over the Optica aircraft over 10, 15 years, how do you feel now?
Well, earlier on, after the receivership and with the present company getting going that's running the project, I felt very sad not to be involved in it. And I felt very sad indeed to see the very good management team that I'd put together gradually filtering away to other jobs. But I think I'm fairly philosophical about it now.
Optica aircraft presented by Optica Industries Limited, newly formed company.
The Optica is a technical achievement to match any of Airbus's or Boeing's. With its bubble front to give maximum visibility, the slow-flying spotter plane is unique, just as John Edgley had conceived it in a shed in London's Islington. The dream of a plane that could do the job of a helicopter was to become a reality, and a third as cheap to build. And by 1981, John Edgley had raised the money to develop and produce it. The plus was City of London backing, the minus their terms.
The sort of returns that the city are looking for are, in terms of the aircraft industry, fairly short term. We found it necessary to show a return in approximately 3 years from the time of funding. And therefore, naturally, one worked out how it was possible to do that.
But not even the great, large aerospace companies, British Aerospace, McDonnell Douglas, Boeing, would dream of doing a project like yours in such a short period of time. Did no one attempt to tell you that the time horizons were absurdly short?
No, I don't think they did, really. And it didn't occur to us at the time.
Whatever else the Optica seems to be, you certainly seem to have pulled in a large part of the British establishment, as what the Duke of Edinburgh, Mrs. Thatcher.
Yes, we certainly found publicity was always fairly easy, because of course aeroplanes appeal to people. But as well as that, we won a number of awards. The first one was the Prince of Wales Award for Innovation in Industry. We won a Design Council Award in 1984. The Coachmakers Company have an award each year for design in industry, which we won in 1985.
What about Mrs. Thatcher and the Duke of Edinburgh when they came down? Did they approach you, or did you approach them? How did they come to visit the airfield?
They approached us. The decision was evidently made to visit Salisbury.
A sign of
and to come and see us.
A company and a plane to be seen backing.
Well, that's right. Yes.
Yet it was 2 years after Mrs. Thatcher's visit to his factory outside Salisbury that John Edgley was ready to sell his first plane. He had orders, but no hard sales. And so every year it was back to his financiers for more and more cash.
One of the effects of running out of money at earlier stages and having to go back for further funding was that we still had to show the same returns, percentage returns, despite having more funding. Now, the only way to do that was actually to create a bigger project out of it. And the only way to do that was actually to increase the number of aircraft sales per year. And that we had actually done. And in earlier projections, we were looking at 5 aircraft a month. By the end, we were looking at 9.5 aircraft a month.
A vicious circle.
It was a vicious circle, yes. And looking at both sides of the argument, I have to agree that I think there's a question mark over 9.5 aircraft sales a month, guaranteed.
And after his first sale, this.
The Optica aircraft crashed onto the side of the A31 bypass shortly before midday. Hampshire police had only yesterday taken possession of the aircraft. The plane, which had taken off from Lyon-Solent, was monitoring heavy traffic conditions on the A31 caused by the busy Ringwood market nearby, when it appeared to lose power and then began to lose height quickly before crashing into the trees.
Optica was to be cleared of design faults, but a 5th round of financing was to prove impossible. £3 million was needed, £2 million offered. 5 months later, Edgley Aircraft was in receivership.
This morning it was work as usual for the 270 staff, while the receiver got down to inspecting the books. Christopher Barlow of the Bristol Chartered Accountants Cork Gully was called in at 4 o'clock on Friday. His first priority is to keep the company ticking over and fulfilling the 16 firm orders already on the books, and then to find a buyer to take over the firm as a going concern.
Well, I'm hoping to be able to sell the business as a going concern, that is to say the business and assets of Edgley. And to that end, we are, as you rightly say, assessing the situation at the present time. And we shall be in contact with as many people as possible who may be interested in the business of this company.
A rescuer appeared, a 51-year-old local businessman, Alan Hakeney, who said he'd pay the wages of 50 workers whilst he looked for money to buy the company. Like John Edgley, he found the city unreceptive, but he went ahead nonetheless.
How was it?
Absolutely wonderful. It really was. Better than I ever dreamed of. The visibility is something I've never experienced before in flying. It's just marvellous.
So this won't be the last time you go up in one?
Oh, rest assured, I think I might buy one for myself.
He did more than that. He bought the company, having to tap his own pension to secure the cash. The price tag, £2 million, for the very same company into which John Edgley's investors had put £9 million. A risk, but calculated.
Risk is determined by your experience in a particular field, and where all of my experience is in and around engineering and business itself. Venture capitalists are predominantly accountants with experience in business, and therefore their whole attitude towards it can only be judged by their experience in investing in the business itself. I feel I have an advantage in deciding when a business is going to be successful or not.
Alan Hakeney spent more than a month looking for support to join his own, and it finally came from a Norwegian bank. He had aimed to sell 20 planes over the 12 months following his purchase. He only sold one, and the unsold stockpile grew, buyers remaining wary about the long-term future. More and more, the company focused on subcontract work. Pure survival, the name of the game.
It's an ideal site, and then
This isn't partly jigsaw job, is it?
yes, it is.
It's a jig, right?
Yeah, it's a drill template.
Is there much more of this work on it?
We hope so, yes. We'll get in contact and we should get something out of that.
As long as you make money?
Yes.
Cash and the company first. Technology a long way second.
There's a lot to be done here at Old Sarum, which doesn't just involve the aircraft. There's property development and other exercises and expansion of our manufacturing facilities, which is all being considered and is very attractive. So I wouldn't rule out that I won't get support from the city eventually.
When you start becoming a property developer?
Yes, when I become less of a risk, I will get the support I need. I'm fairly confident.
60 firemen from 3 counties fought the blaze, which began around midnight. 8 of the Optica aircraft and a helicopter were destroyed in the fire, which swept through the wartime hangar at Old Sarum Airfield, north of Salisbury. Fire experts are still examining the twisted wreckage, trying to establish the cause of the fire. But the police already know that it was started deliberately.
The hangar that burnt down contained unsold Opticas. The building that remained, the company's manufacturing facilities. Since then, only one more plane has been built. John Edgley, meanwhile, dabbles in stocks and shares and property. The Optica story, he believes, is as good as over.
The company may keep going on subcontracting work, which I believe they've been doing more recently, but then it's not an aircraft factory, it's not building the Optica, it's a totally different thing. It's a company that is doing jobbing work within the aircraft and other industries.
Would you do it again?
With the current feeling within the city and within the country, no, I'm afraid I wouldn't. But I would if I thought it was going to be any easier.
Richard Noble built the British Thrust II to hold the world land speed record. Now he's building a British plane.
These are ARB Aviation's Super 2, all British two-seat touring training aircraft designed to reduce the cost of flying to clubs, schools and the private owner. And in fact, in response to the numbers of orders received, ARB are putting together a sizable production plant in the United Kingdom.
The Americans produced, over the period 1950 to 1983, 43,874 units. 38,000 are still flying. Because our operating costs are some 30% less than the existing airplanes, we can replace all that 38,000.
So you're talking about building a whole new industry, really?
This is an industry. Oh, get this right, this is an industry. And we have a world lead of approximately 3 years. And we've now got to turn that world lead into market share. And this is where most of the British ventures go wrong. Because you know, of all of the brilliant things that the Brits always developed and came up with first, and then the actual production ended up overseas. Well, the production is going to end up in this country.
Richard Noble is the super patriot, and when America bowed out of light aviation, he determined to fill the gap. A team like that for Thrust II was assembled, and the ideal trainer dreamt up. A robust two-seater, easily assemblable, and above all, cheap. Next, the money.
In the early stages, of course, the city institutions weren't interested, with the exception of Time Lords. Basically, I went round a lot of them, and they said, my God, another airplane, no. Nice to meet you, Richard, but come back, they said, when you've got some orders and when you're into production. So you say, well, okay, but how do I get to that stage? That's your problem, they say.
It's a catch-22, really.
Well, you've got to beat the system, haven't you? That's what all this is about.
Richard Noble is used to success, but even he has found the continual rounds of financing near to overwhelming. He intends to be as tough as the paymasters, in the interests of aviation, not finance.
Your financial backers are going to be looking to you to produce good profits, and they're going to be saying to you, well, Richard, you can make extra money by charging not £26,000 for a plane, but why not put your price up to 30?
And we will resist it.
But they were putting a lot of pressure on you.
And we will resist it. We run the business.
We've talked to industrialists who say that the pressure sometimes is irresistible, and that's why they've had to give up market share. You think you're going to buck that trend?
Wait and see.
Today, the ARV is where Optica was 2 years ago, trying to take a plane from design to break even in 4 years. Success is elusive. An engine problem meant 3/4 of the staff had to be laid off to save the company. For the time being, Richard Noble is receiving finance. What he needs now is long-term commitment.